Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here for today's video. I want to talk about a team that's kind of like floating under the radar right now, and I really do think in the Western Conference could kind of be like a sleeper team. When I say sleeper, I don't mean they're going to go out there and, be sleeping the Golden State Warriors. I'm more so saying that they are going to be a lot better than people think they're going to be, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies. So kind of hear me out on this. I know some of you guys are probably like, yo, Crispy, there is no way the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be any good. They are in rebuild mode. But then I ask myself, are they really in a rebuild mode right now? So last NBA season, there was a ton of trade rumors going on involving guys like Marc Gasol. I know one of the big ones was him going to the Raptors for Jonas Valanciunas and stuff like that. I mean, Mike Conley was injured all last season. But now it's like we're in this offseason, and they have not really lost any significant pieces. The only one they did lose, or is probably not going to get back, is Tyreke Evans, which I do think is a big blow, because I actually really did want to see Tyreke Evans back on this Memphis Grizzlies team. But I look at the rest of the roster, and they're doing some pretty damn good things out there. So like I was saying, Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, those two guys, when completely healthy, are top players in the NBA. Marc Gasol, one of the best defensive guys, stretched out to the three-point line. The man can grab rebounds. He can do a little bit of everything out there. I absolutely love Marc Gasol's game. And then you got Mike Conley, who, not last NBA season, because he was out for pretty much this whole thing, but the 2016-2017 season, he actually had his best year where he averaged about 21 points, got about 4 rebounds, 6 assists per game, averaged over a steal, and shot 41% from three. So I know Mike Conley is one of those guys where he's kind of underrated in the sense that he doesn't really make all-star teams or nothing like that, but he definitely is one of the top tier, point guards in the NBA. The only bad thing about them is that he does have a bitch-ass contract. So, I mean, from that standpoint, when you have a bitch-ass contract, it's kind of hard to say that you are overrated or underrated because, you're getting paid so much money and stuff like that. But they also went ahead and recently, at the making this video, they did a trade for Garrett Temple, which I thought was actually low-key a really nice trade. Garrett Temple was traded for Deontay Davis and also, I believe, Ben McLemore. So it's like, Deontay Davis, I still think he could be something in the NBA, but, being from Michigan State and kind of being based off potential, it seems like the Memphis Grizzlies, they kind of want to put all their efforts into developing Jaren Jackson Jr., who is also based kind of on potential for Michigan State, although I think as of right now, he's a better NBA player, will be a better NBA player than Deontay Davis. But yeah, Garrett Temple out there, it's like, this dude last NBA season, he shot, let me see here, man. He shot about 40% from three, averaged about 8 points per game, grabbed a few rebounds, got a few assists, played some great defense out there for the Sacramento Kings. So, I mean, that's just like another piece to the puzzle. And looking at this roster, it seems like they're kind of going with the route of they want to be like a hard-nosed defensive team out there. So, I mean, of course, they no longer have like Tony Allen or Zach Randolph. Both those guys, when they were playing for this team, they were big on defense or anything like that. So it seems like they are still kind of going with that direction, just of course with different players. And then of course you got Dillon Brooks, who is their rookie. And Dillon Brooks, he was actually one of my favorite rookies to watch last NBA season. Looking up his stats real quick, he averaged about 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal per game. Shot 36% from three. So what I like about Dillon Brooks is when this team was going down, this man went out there, he still continued to ball out game in and game out, played all 82 games last season, and really used the opportunity of some of the stars like Mike Conley and Marc Gasol being down to just work on his game. They also ended up getting Kyle Anderson via free agency. Looking at his contract, let me look it up here real quick on my end, man, just because I think it was a pretty large contract. Okay, so it's actually not too bad. It's 4 years, about $40 million, getting paid about $9-10 million per season. So it's actually not too bad. Kyle Anderson is one of those players that can do a little bit of everything out there. So, I mean, he probably will be the starting small forward for this team next season. You would think, at least, just because, he can score the basketball, he can rebound, decent playmaker, can knock down the three-point shot, do everything there. So, I don't know. Just looking at this team, I like what they're doing out there. And I think if you're a Memphis Grizzlies fan, you can't just be like, yo, this team needs to start trading away pieces, because looking up and down the roster, all things considered, it's a pretty nice team. And I did not even start talking about Jaren Jackson Jr. from Michigan State, drafted, I believe, was the 4th overall in the NBA draft this season. So this guy is literally the perfect power forward for this era of the NBA. This man can knock down his three-point shots, which is just surprising because being 6'11" and stuff like that, not only that, but he's also really good at defense. And normally, when you get stretch bigs in the NBA, they're usually just good at shooting. It's something. It's that's how they kind of develop their game over time. Focus more on offense, more instead of defense and stuff like that. But Jaren Jackson Jr., this guy in college averages about 3 blocks per game. I mean, he's throwing back shots in the summer league, doing everything out there. So I think the Memphis Grizzlies, it's just like last NBA season, we can see they kind of just took the season off because guys were injured like that. They went out there, got themselves a lottery pick, and got themselves a guy that can be built around for the foreseeable future. Now, I don't know if Jaren Jackson is like a franchise piece. I don't think he's quite that. But I do think that when he does reach his prime, he can be a second or third option on a really good basketball team out there. So he's going to learn a lot from Marc Gasol, who plays the same way pretty much in the sense of, being able to play some good defense, but also knock down three-point shots. I think he's going to learn a lot from him. As far as the rest of the bench goes, you still have Chandler Parsons on contract. I believe that contract should be running out pretty soon. He's got 2 more years left on that, roughly about $24 million per season. So, once you get down to that 1 season range for a contract, you can even go as far as start looking for trades and stuff like that. Now, a lot of cases you would have to attach some sort of protected first round draft pick, second round draft pick. But I think for now, if Chandler Parsons is coming off the bench, that's just kind of okay. Playing about 20 minutes a game, going out there, knocking out a few perimeter shots, doing things like that. That's probably all Chandler Parsons is at this point in his NBA career. But like I said, man, he used to be a pretty good starter for the Houston Rockets. So if he can come off the bench and be just like half that player for 20 minutes per game, that can still be a W for the Memphis Grizzlies, considering his contract and everything. You got your Michael Green out there, another pretty good stretch big. Andrew Harrison looks like he can be a decent backup point guard in the NBA. So yeah, man, really liking what the Memphis Grizzlies are doing out there. As far as like their record, like I was saying, why I say they are like under the radar or like a sleeper team. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be top 4 or 5 team in the Western Conference, but I will say they could probably get that 7th or 8th spot, depending how some of the other teams turn out. And like I was saying, man, injuries is a big part of it because Mike Conley, who knows, maybe after last NBA season missing all that, he comes back and is not the same player. But I don't think that's the case because Mike Conley's game is not really athletic based. He's more so one of those guys that kind of like slows down the tempo and gets everybody going out there, man, in the right spots and just runs the play. He's a very smart basketball player. Mike Conley's always been extremely smart out there. Marc Gasol, he's probably going to be feeling well rested because not only missing the playoffs, but also the fact that he didn't really play like all that much last season. Like, yeah, he played and stuff like that, but it got to the point where the team was just kind of tanking, so playing Marc Gasol max minutes was not really an option for them out there. But yeah, I'm expecting this team stays healthy to be about 7th or 8th place in the Western Conference. I think it's going to be a fun team to watch. I think it's going to be a fun team to watch Jaren Jackson kind of develop. Dillon Brooks going into his 2nd season. I think the defense of this team is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And it's just really a good mesh of good, veterans playing with some guys out there that are younger that want to go out there and prove themselves. So, I don't know, man. Let me know in the comment section below what y'all think about the Memphis Grizzlies. Do you think this team is going to go out there and, prove some doubters wrong? Or do you think it's time to rebuild and maybe try to look for some offers from Mike Conley and Marc Gasol and maybe, try to get some draft picks for them and simply just work on developing the young talent? Because really, there's no losing either way. If you decide to do that, Jaren Jackson and Dillon Brooks, I would probably say are the 2 building blocks alongside Kyle Anderson maybe, who is only 25 years of age. So yeah, if you can trade those guys, if you can trade some of the old guys for draft picks and you rebuild that way, if not, then you kind of roll with what you have at the moment. Those other guys still continue to play. They get guided by Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. And, about 4 or 5 seasons from now when all those guys hit their prime, you guys are good to go. So it should be an exciting time for Memphis Grizzlies fans. Don't hold your head down if you were at all. No point. But I will say, if y'all get the opportunity to get Tyreke Evans back, I'm looking at the roster right now. And I will say, man, he'd be a good fit at that shooting guard position. He had one of his best NBA seasons. So I think he deserves that chance. Unless he wants a bitch-ass contract, then, what can you do? I mean, you only got so much money, especially when you got so much tied up in Chandler Parsons. But yeah, guys, give me your thoughts and opinions on the Memphis Grizzlies in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and peace out, my friends.